my next guest is someone I've met a few times, because this is Priyanka Dasgupta, who is the International Microorganism Day intern. And she is coming to tell you and show you a few behind the scenes pieces of information. So let's get her set up with her webcam and presentation and microphone. I think this is all going to plan. Priyanka, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hi, Joe. It's going good. It's going good. Sorry, I realized I hadn't started my video, but it should be on now. Yes. Hi.
Awesome.
Great.
Hi. Yeah, good to see you. On International Microorganism Day of all days as well. A day we've been working towards.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I guess in your... Go for it, sorry.
No. I was just saying, as is the case with a lot of important webinars, I've been looking forward to this one. And surprisingly, my laptop chose this day to kind of die down, but I've been getting that back up. So it's been really, so I'm here to talk about my internship experience with FEMS for the last 3 months, three and a half months.
It was from around June that you joined us, yeah.
Yes. So it's been fun. And would you happen to have my slides there? Or if not, I can join from my laptop as well, which is not
I can get those slides up because yes, we prepared for any kind of tech failure.
Calamity that befalls us. Yeah.
Let me just get this together. But yeah, so if you have, I'm just going to share my screen with the IMD website, because if anyone has enjoyed the blog series that we have been putting together, Priyanka was instrumental in putting together not just the ideas for many of these blogs, but also have written quite a few. So as I find her presentation, I will just get up on the screen. Can you see this?
Yeah. So that's those are the blogs. So the journey to the center of the gut is one of the ones that I'd written, and it's actually so the ideas for it, as Joe said, we were working on some plausible ideas that we could pitch and form some of the blogs and listicles around. So there came the idea of listicles, which is also something that you can see, these 5 pandemics that shaped the world. That's not mine, but it's from the many great writers working on the team of International Microorganism Day. The 5 times microbes came to the rescue of human problems, that one's mine, and that talks about all kinds of problems of oil spills, of bacteria being used for bioremediation in oil spills, to some problems around. So the one really interesting one that I found was pooples, which is not as bad as it sounds, but it's basically using. So the idea is around fecal microbiological transplants, which means that to implant the healthy microbiome and cultivate that in the microbiome of a patient who might be suffering from some, let's say, diarrhea or some other forms of diseases because of their inability to form healthy microbiome and infection by other microbiomes. So that one talks about stuff like that, but in a fun way.
So I now worry about my gut microbes in a way I never used to.
Yeah. I mean, so your microbes are going to take care of you as long as you're feeding them healthy food. They're going to take care of you, don't worry.
Right. I have a presentation here, so let me just start sharing this instead of the blog. But yeah, if you want to read these blogs, obviously on the website, there's even more in the pipeline, so you can go and find even more blogs of microbes from the website. Yeah, Priyanka, just give me a cue when...
I can just say next.
Can you see this now? Is this visible to you?
Not yet, but it's going to be. Yes, this is our very happy mascot Gilus saying hi to all of you, and on the left side you can see my name, which is Priyanka Dasgupta.
Cool.
And
so, yeah.
this is a story about my internship at FEMS and working on International Microorganism Day. As we move on to the next slide, page, this will just give you an overview of the work that I did across these 3 months. So the main three things that I did was content, social media, and webinars. So in content, Joe has already talked about some of the blogs that I've written. So that was part of the content curation. Because I was interning with the science communications department, it does involve a lot of social media work as well. Because a lot of promotion for the International Microorganism Day and promotion of other influencers and people working in microbiology, to promote them, we use social media platforms, which is, as most of you watching it on social media will know, that it's quite a good platform to get information out there and interact as well. And finally, this is the webinar that we've all been building towards. And yeah, I'm lucky to be speaking on it. Yeah, and in the next slide, the so yeah, so
Yeah.
that was just a nice little trailer of all the things possible that you're going to see in this presentation. But this is the major milestones building blog that I've kind of created to give an overview of the work being put together that leads up to the webinar. So around June, I am a student at Imperial College London studying my master's in science communication. And around June, I had applied for internships, and the team here, which is Joe himself, I think, Joe, Ben, Claudia, Nuno. So Joe offered me an internship there, Joe and Matthew. And at that point, I was due to start my internship around July. From July, then the basic plan remained around contacting influencers for the said social media plan, of promoting microbiology through our social media channels, which was the FEMS Microbiology, but I would be working mainly on the International Microorganism Day channel. So our intention, just to give you a background of how we were working, was our intention was to increase the number of people for the accounts, get the information out there, get more people interested, and just create a buzz so that more and more people could know about the webinar happening today and engage with the incredible material.
Priyanka,
that is.
can we hear you?
Oh, can. Oh,
yes, can. Good. Sorry, that was just me at my end. My bad. Continue.
No problem, no problem. And this, so Joe has been helping me with the technical details, and as he did just now as well. But he's been the one who's been guiding me sort of through it. And so around July, we got the basic plan together. I proposed some of the topics that we could work on for the blogs and the content development, which Joe then took over to kind of outsource or distribute amongst people who would be the best to write on such topics. I personally wrote 3 blogs, which I'll talk about later. By August, the social media plan that we had etched up was now being put to use, and we were creating content. We were scheduling software. So I was working on scheduling software, which allowed me to schedule a lot of the influencers content that we'd already got. So one of the things that we did was in IMD quotes, which was quotes from people working in the field and about how they've been interested in it. And same around August, the drafts that I'd written off on my blogs and the listicles, I'd sent it up for review to Joe, and then he gave me feedback, and the review process and the editing process was also a fun, nice little experience that I had. And finally, we're here up to the webinar where I'm speaking. Yeah. And in the next slide is again just an overview of the blogs that we've had time to cover already in the previous section. So Journey to the Center of the Gut speaks about the healthy microbiome that how to keep a healthy microbiome in your gut. And then there's one that's due to come, which is Evolving Theory of Hygiene Hypothesis, which talks about, again, hygiene hypothesis, old friends theory, and the extended hygiene hypothesis, again, to do with the microbiome inside our body. So microbiome would mean all the microorganisms or the let's say the biome of microorganisms living within our body, and in a way that our organs and our systems are also dependent on them. So that talks about these hygiene hypotheses, and one listicle that's already up on the website, which is the 5 times microbes came to the rescue of human problems, which you can check out these 3 blogs and other amazing content as well on the International Microorganism Day website that Joe showed earlier. In the next slide, I have a little bit of the creative work. So I also, a lot of the social media, in doing the social media curation, I had to develop some creatives, which was not my main, like I was not the person who they were depending on creatives for, but I think it was a nice experience that I got to work on designing some templates, as you can see here. This one is for a general announcement poster or a template. So this was a really good way for me to actually try out my designing skills. Now, one of the designs that I did design and got used was the IMD quotes announcement thing. The main IMD quotes was template was designed by Nuno, but a very similar design I could use for the announcement template. So yeah, that was, it gave me experience designing mock-ups, mood boards, and style guides of the International Microorganism Day theme on which I based my design on. Yes, and that's been me designing creatives. In the next slide, there's, I think, just example of another social media. So this is the example of the IMD quotes thing that we've been doing, which you can check out on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So yeah, so I worked on this with Ben, where I had been contacting influencers all over, talking about contacting influencers to give said quotes and then putting those quotes onto the social media so that it might reach everyone. So these were our quote cards. And yes, and in the next slide, I have a few examples of the creative designs that of the kind of content. So the lower bottom left side one is another IMD quote that we did for the Twitter feed. On the top, you can see a lovely tardigrade swimming around, which is the kind of content that we've been rolling out on our social media as well. The beautiful under the lens world. And the right side is one of the templates that I had designed for the IMD quotes announcement. Yeah, and that's about it. I think in the next slide, oh yeah, right on time. The next slide is me again trying my hand at trying to design some abstract version of myself as a science communicator or on the path to hopefully becoming a science communicator. And that's been me. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Priyanka. And well done for dealing with any technical difficulties in a cool and calm style. Always very good for a science communicator. But yeah, it's been fantastic having you for these last few months. You know, you've been very responsive and enthusiastic, and you know, we can just throw anything at you and you'll be able to deal with it very well. And it's nice to see it all come together on this beautiful day. It's like Christmas for microbiologists. While we're talking about International Microorganism Day, one of the things that has just been announced is the first winner of the microbe art contest. So this was another initiative that was happening along the same time, and let's just see who it is. So it is Naomi Matthew. Yeah, can you see the screen? So we have this Vitruvian man in agar art. So I just wanted to make sure that anyone watching was aware of the first winner, and they're going to be announced every 30 minutes for the first half of today. So Priyanka, what do you think was your favorite moment during your internship?
Oh, during the internship, I think most of it revolved around the social media thing, I would definitely say, because the sheer amount of work that went into contacting the influencers and then arranging those quote cards, or let's say content, it was quite fun. And it was something I'd not done so much before. So the drafts, writing up the content was also interesting, but that was something I'd experienced. And obviously you did point out a lot of the stuff that I could improve upon, and I'm really grateful for that. But I think the social media thing, the scheduling on one of the software so that it could roll out timely, that was also interesting as well.
Yeah. And what do you think is your favorite talk that we're going to be having today? Have any taken?
I caught up with the talk earlier, just before this, which was also nice. I mean, one of the talks that I am also looking forward to is by another influencer that I contacted, is by M and Fatima that happens around 5:40 London time, which you all can catch. It's on biofilms. And I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, and we'll have you back in the call for that session as well.
Yep. And for that session, my laptop will work, because now it's just staring at me and kind of mocking me that I'm working. Why did you even go on your mobile features?
Okay, fantastic. And just before, well, we've got a few more minutes, but what are you moving on to after International Microorganism Day?
For after International Microorganism Day, with the skills that I've been armed doing this internship, I am now moving on to do a training fellowship at CERN, again in science communications, and that starts October. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Fantastic. So, you know, I mean, at CERN they still deal with very small things, but they also
it's just like it's a company no one's heard about. So no, but so at CERN, I think this has been really helpful in trying to priming me to do exactly that, that writing for. So they also would be so my job would also include writing about different research material for different stakeholders, which is something that I kind of understood while writing for the blog platform on International Microorganism Day. So not just think about the content, but also the audience that I'm speaking to. So I hope that goes well.
Well done. So I see our next guest has arrived in the waiting room. So we must move on to the next section. But thank you for showing, all the work. You've been really helpful and the best intern we could have asked for. So thank you very much from me. I've been, crucial and essential in putting together our kind of blog strategy, which has been really successful. And I think hopefully will add so much more to the kind of feel behind the website now that there's so many perspectives, and we can kind of help to grow this over the next few years, I hope. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see you. See you
bye. See you again later. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Enjoy.